So you're able to hear me, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, please.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks everyone for your patience. Okay, there was some glitch, but without wasting further time, I would like to start this session. So, the topic given to me was how is this wearable technology, especially what is coming as smart glasses, which uses augmented reality as a technology, is able to bring that digitalization within the factory floor, even in manufacturing or in field service, even with, for example, for that matter, the warehouse management solution, warehouse management. Okay, so let me just. Uh, we are calling this as a front line of the future, mainly because of the fact that if we see the current industry 4.0, the factories are becoming more factories of the future. All the machines are being connected, and you derive the data meaningfully and then analyze it and perform certain actions as a predictive maintenance. So, but what remains as a core of the factory floor is the workers themselves who are doing the manual work. So now, how do we provide the newest technologies to them to help them increase the productivity or reduce the number of errors they are doing, or even come out with certain benefits which we could not foresee before implementing AR? We'll talk about those challenges in the coming slides. Um, So if you look at, so before I go on to the front line of the future, how AR and smart glass can help your workers in the factory floor, the wearable technology. Let me just take some time to give you an idea about where augmented reality, mixed reality, and virtual reality, especially this technology, which is immersive, non-immersive, partially immersive, is comes with the wearable technology. So of course you can have AR, VR, and a handheld device, especially the AR, but the most value of a technology can be taken when you implement in a wearable. Okay, the head-mounted displays. So if you look at it, so and if you look at the industrial applications, that's what we are focusing now. Of course, this technology comes from the gaming, but yet it is finding lots of applications within the industrial enterprise, and the industrial enterprise applications will take over the consumer side of it. And as you can see, mostly in field services, manufacturing, training, and sales and marketing, of course. So these are the high value use cases where the customers are trying a test and learn phase they're in. They're trying to understand what this technology can give more opportunities and more benefits. Okay. So keeping in the time in mind, I'll try to quickly cover the topics. When the XR factor, so the entire enterprise XR trends. When we say XR trends, is nothing but X stands for either augmented, virtual, or mixed, all realities for that matter. So if you look at the enterprise roles and their strategic goals, yes, as we have seen before, as we see in the last slide, that they're they're checking in field services, manufacturing, sales and marketing, even design. When it comes to design, virtual reality plays a major role where they want to collaborate the users in virtual reality and help them visualize the full scale model for any design changes. And then operations, and then training. Training is also a potential use case when it comes to AR, VR on wearables. And their strategic goals is mainly to improve the quality and then improve the productivity, and also improve the ergonomics of the worker. That's what we will find out in the later point in time, how that can even improve the ergonomics of the worker. um, so Vimal or Marine, should I ask the question? Should I allow the users or the attendees to ask the questions at the end, or can they ask the questions anytime during the session? Hello, Marine. Hello. Wherein I guess you're able to. I'm audible. I'm just continuing. Can you just confirm back that I am audible? Hello.
Hello. Hello. Yeah, hi, Vimal.
Hello. Can just
This
someone
is Luke.
confirm I'm audible?
Sorry. Okay. So actually, I think I'm right on the webinar right now, and the presenter is trying to get in touch with you guys. I think. Yeah. So if you can just get on to the meeting and talk to him. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No problem.
Hello. Hello. I'm continuing, assuming that I'm still audible to all the people. Mm, yeah. So I'm just continuing. So if you look at the industry challenges through AR, so in general, in manufacturing industry, we are seeing
Is
um,
somebody downloading anything?
ever increasing shortage of skilled manufacturing workforce. This is quite true all around the world. And then also because the factories are becoming the factories of future, there is a growing knowledge gap um, due to change in the manufacturing itself, the way you manufacture itself, because the machines are going smarter. That is changing, and then it increasing the knowledge gap. And more importantly, this millennials, the technology savvies, who are entering who are going to replace this aged skilled workforce. They are used to use, they're basically technology savvies, and if you ask them to use text-based work instructions, it would not. And if you use the regular training methods and the way the instructions are given to the worker, that would not work, because the newest technologies needs new methods of training, of course. And again, availability of the, how do you capture the tribal knowledge which is available with the experienced workforce now. So all these challenges, more or less, let's see how we can address these challenges. So the augmented reality way, how can we address these challenges is because now one of few of the challenges we often hear from the customers is that they don't have, and the ramp up pace is increasing exponentially, and they don't have enough time to train the technicians and put them on shop floor, and even the experienced technicians who don't have time to guide them, so there is always a risk of putting the non-experienced technicians who can make mistakes, and the quality error rate might go up. So how do we handle this is through job aids. This what AR can bring, especially on the smart glass, is that the step task, which is the right information, right time, what is required for the worker to do, what is required for the worker to see at that point in time, will only be displayed on a smart glass, right? That will help him to it's a guided task for him basically. And again, it's a hands-free solution which will improve the ergonomics of the worker, and most importantly, it will keep the hands of the worker free to do the core task instead of focusing, taking his eyes off from what the worker is doing. And then again, so we talked about how do we make sure that the experts can still help the new age workforce is through remote collaboration. Suppose an expert is sitting remotely, but still, how can he help the technician on the shop floor without traveling? Is again through smart glass, where the technician or the worker can live stream the content back to the remote specialist, and he can guide him remotely. And the knowledge transfer, how can we capture the tribal knowledge? That's also an important topic. Is through allowing again, the you don't have to ask the experienced worker to dedicate time to capture the way he's performing the job. He don't have to document. What we can do simply is that when he wears these smart glasses, he can directly record the work he is doing, and if that is the best experienced person available, so you can capture that video and have it as a training module for the new workers who are going to come enter the shop floor. So even these videos can be integrated part of your step-by-step tasks. So not only the text information, the short text one, or we call it as visual instruction, you can also slow the information, the short text one, or we call it as visual instruction. You can also slow the thermo. So that's what I was saying. So we have seen the challenges. We have seen how is the AR way of solving those challenges. So this is what IDC says. AR is set to fundamentally change the industrial jobs in the next 5 years, because more, as far as the analysts say, if you look at what has happened to the factories, who stand at the core of the factory performance. So that is going to change because of these technologies coming and the smart glasses coming in. That is going to change in the next years to come. And it is not something futuristic. This has been already implemented in many of the factory floors in US and Europe and Japan. So customers are seriously testing and trying to learn what this technology can bring benefit to them. If you move forward, these are the statistics. Yes, so 20.5 million deskless professionals or the workers will start using smart glasses not so far by 2021. And 70%, 72%. So VR, if you look at AR and VR as a technology, as I said, I'm relating that to the wearables again. So VR will find its less applications when it comes to industrial enterprise. More it will be more on the marketing and the design side of it. But what is going to exponentially improve is AR, augmented reality, or mixed reality, which is going to take the 72% of the revenue share. And then if you look at these spendings, which is coming hugely from the hardware, what has changed? one point I forgot to mention is when we look at these technologies, they've been there. They are not being introduced 2 3 years back. Augmented reality and virtual reality as a technology is been existing, but what has changed in the recent past is that the maturity and the level amount of investment gone into the hardware, so that's why it has become more affordable and more matured, more usable now. And that's why there is an increasing interest in testing and implementing this technology in the shop floor. So as you see, 114 billion worth of uh, investment, or the estimates of the revenue both for hardware and software. So only when we talk about the hardware part of it, it is only for AR smart glasses alone, it is going to be 30 billion. And then, yeah, so if you look at the number of deskless professionals today, it's close to 100 million. So that is going to change uh, when they get smart glasses and use augmented reality. So all these projections are giving a hint towards how is this 20 million increasing. As you see, the growth is rapid. So based on this, we devised what is called as a front line of the future. So if you look at, if you really want to improve the performance and the reduce the quality errors which they're doing at shop floor, is because one of the problems what we see when we talk about standard work instructions, uh, we have those instructions in pages and pages, literally all text. And once the worker gets used to it, once the worker knows how to do the job, he's not going to refer to them at all. Yes, but but how can we change this? Because yet again, even the experienced workers are making certain issues, and it is so cumbersome for a new worker to come in and have those look at those text instructions and start learning what he has to do. So apart from those classroom training, so how do we change this is by visual instructions, what we call it. And also we have to extract that critical piece of information from these text instructions, make them as more visual instructions. Even it could be sometimes what we call as the augmented reality and the wearable technology has tool has different levels of immersion. For example, we call it something as assisted reality, which is a subset of augmented reality, where you have smart glasses, which I will show in the next slide, where you can see 2D information only. As you can see, notice here, the lady here is able to look at only the 2D information. There is no 3D visualization, but still such kind of smart glasses are required and being widely used today when it comes to having some images or videos or simple text-based instructions, which is again what is crucial is right information, right time is going to improve the productivity of the worker. So the smart work instructions is the same thing. Instead of having a text information, how do we make it more visual, and how do we make it more relevant for the task what they are doing at that point in time, instead of giving a series of text information. So that is going to hugely change, also improve the quality. Why? Because the worker has that critical piece of information what he needs to refer to when he's doing that job. Basically will improve the quality, will improve the productivity of the worker, because it's hands-free computing. It will improve the ergonomics of the worker and also the safety, because the worker don't have to move from the assembly station or manufacturing station to collect that information and then come back. So eventually this is going to improve the safety of the worker as well. And again, yet again, one more component is see what I see. Uh, as you can see, there are multiple applications around one technology and one wearable. See what I see is also if the worker for any reason is not able to solve the problem, is seeing an unforeseen situation, then he can, using the smart glass, can collaborate with a remote technician, a remote specialist, as you see, and he's be able to see exactly what the worker is seeing on the shop floor. What is more importantly is that he can create uh, AR annotations, around the live video what he's getting, so that he can collaborate more easily than before with the worker and help him solve the problem. And again, if he wants to communicate a complex task, then he can divide it into multiple simple tasks and then create a task flow and send that task flow on the fly to the worker so that he can fix the problem. And all that he can be watching, right? And another element is view IoT in here. We know for sure now that most of the critical assets are being monitored by the customers through IoT technology. But the question is that the outcome or the parameters are presented in a meaningful way for the worker when it is required. Imagine a technician or a worker goes for a maintenance, and then he has to know what is the performance, what are the historical data uh, before doing that maintenance. So that can be represented through AR again on smart glass. Not only the historical data, the parameters which are being measured, but also any repair procedure to can be again really given as a step by step visual instructions for the worker to perform that repair. So quickly moving on to the next slide. So as I said, improve the quality, improve productivity, reduce cost, because of, see what is, you don't have to move the remote expert to the field. You can definitely save the travel cost and reduce the downtime, which will also eventually be a cost for the customers. So improve the utilization of being tracked. So these are very good examples of where what I was talking, if you see, you can see more in action in terms of images. So if you look at manufacturing, this is from a major aircraft OEM in North America, where the example here is the wiring harness. So as we know, the wire harness have a lot of these in aircraft. You cannot, the room for error is zero. If there is any misplace of wires inside the connectors, it can lead to a huge problem. So again, the workers are referring to the wiring diagrams and completing the task, which is again leading to human errors. It's just because that the ergonomics factor is not taken care, because the worker has to take the eyes off often from the work he's doing. So now with smart glasses like this and the representation of the wire, which wire has to go where in the connector, he don't have to take his eyes off, which has improved the productivity substantially more than 25% and reduced the name numbers to near zero. And again, warehouse management, what we call as vision by picking, again through the smart glass, is a very good application where in terms of the worker, as you know, he has to pick a lot of items and then he has to place it in the right place. All this can be the information again is the right information, right time. This just allows the guides the worker or the picker in which shelf he has to pick which item, and he can confirm, because what is important to note is that these smart glasses have barcode scanning, and also you can integrate any other scanner through Bluetooth to the smart glasses, and means the pairing works, and then he can confirm the he can confirm the item whether he has picked the right item and he's placing the right item or not, which will substantially improve the productivity and reduce the number of errors what the pickers are doing. And remote collaboration, it again, as I mentioned in the previous slide, the expert here can visual when can see what the uh, technician or worker on the other side is able to see and guide him to resolve the problem. So I just want to also talk about the kind of augmented reality glasses, what we call as monocular glasses and binocular glasses. Again, the choice of glass has to be made carefully based on the use case what we are trying to solve. So all these are monocular glasses are fit for visualizing 2D information, not much immersive. But again, these binocular glasses, especially the HoloLens, is a mixed reality device where it can superimpose 3D data on top of the physical aircraft, which is very much because slowly the industry is moving towards 3D as a master. So when you have for the product the 3D available and which is the master, we can always project it on top of the physical product and do a quality inspection. That's the opportunity which is given by this technology and this the smart glasses. So that's a brief from my side. Yet we can talk, and I can show you one video example of how this.
Lot of them love it. How old is it?
Yeah, so that's more about. So I would say a first session about how this wearable technology can empower your workforce with the use of augmented reality or mixed reality. Help this technology can solve the some of the industrial challenges what we try to list in this session. So I would like to leave the rest of the session for any questions if you have, and please do feel free to ask. Either I'll try to answer in this session or I'll get back to you with the proper answer.
So, you want to talk?
Hello? Yeah? Hey, Akash, I'll call you. Hold on. I was expecting another call. Yeah, I'm done with my presentation, so I'm leaving the floor for not here. I'm in the chat session. Oh, questions. Yeah. No, I don't have any questions. There was only one. Sorry, can you tell me when the session is going to start? So that was from Heyman. There are few. Hold on. Now let me just. It's a small box. No, I'm not able to. It's okay. So there is one question from. Okay, I'll try to read out the questions and then. Yeah, sure. Hello. There is one question from Pramod. He's asking what is MR? MR is mixed reality, which is in between augmented reality and virtual reality. Where in MR you will superimpose the virtual data on top of the physical product. So as an example, I was telling, if you want to, if the part, for example, an assembly is being manufactured, and if we have a relevant 3D data, if you superimpose that 3D data on top of the physical product, that becomes mixed reality. Of course, the technology definitions are more, because now we are focusing more on the wearable technology and the associated augmented, virtual, and mixed reality. I would go only to that level of depth. Okay, so MR is being can be experienced through HoloLens from Microsoft. So there was some. Uh, who do you see future of variables in light of robotics? I'm not sure if I get this question completely, but in terms of you're asking about robotics, automation versus variables for the workers, yes. When you talk about industries like automotive, most of it is automated, and then much of it is being done by robots. But yet the focus now is where those manual labor is still more. If you talk about aerospace industry or warehouse management and field services, yet it is still being done by workforce. And again, if you talk about mixed reality, we have a couple of use cases where you can robot in mixed reality, right? So you can still analyze how the robot is going to, you can find out that smart path of the robot using mixed reality. Again, when the technology and the changes, the change is going to come. It is going to give more and more opportunities for this kind of AR, VR, and MR. Somebody was asking, can you please enable? Yeah, whether you have tried using Arul is asking this question about, have you tried Vuzix devices? Yes, we have tried it. Um, it's a monoclar device similar to Google Glass, but it has some functionalities more than Google Glass. It has an onboard computer, and as I said, these monocular glasses are more fit for visualizing 2D based information. So Vuzix is being used widely across US, Europe, and Japan as well.
When you mentioned the emoji like scanner, for example, we think we're a transparent pattern, right? But that we think is more of a
So what is the another question from
uh,
Hemant is what are the
exactly.
options?
So, do you
Yeah,
believe
good
that there's a
question.
lot of non-gaming,
I
online
would not
gaming
go
kind of
deep into the
now
technology part of it.
the way that here's where the second angle comes in.
Yes,
Let's
it's
say there's a
still a valid
government
question. If you
program.
don't have those authoring
So
tools, rapid authoring
access
tools
to
mainly,
these technologies
it is going to
is
consume a lot
going
of
to,
effort.
so for
As I
example,
said
in my
before, I think
field,
before even getting
and
to the use
since
case,
it's
before
twofold,
even
there's a lot of
getting to
regulatory aspect itself remains
implementing this
twofold.
technology, there
So
has to be
part
a
of it
lot
is
of due
against
diligence done
the
on what are
safety of the
those
worker.
critical
So our
areas I'm going
advice
to
that we
test
would
and
always
try AR, VR,
always
because
always
until unless we have those
have
metrics defined,
software.
it will
So
stop at the POC,
wanting to
because
implement
soon we will we'll
so
realize that we don't know where to go.
has access to these
So
technologies
this due
to
diligence has to be
use
that's what we
non-profits.
do with our
Within
customers also. We sit
our
together and then do the due
experiences,
diligence. What is the critical
without
metrics
making
we are
it too
going to measure
political.
after
And
implementing this
second is that
technology and a
there
wearable?
be
So which
authorization
is very very
is something
important.
that is
So when it comes
so
there, okay, so now we need to look at the current status of state of your
many of these use cases,
instructions. How
because
do
of
we
the
migrate?
security
Sometimes
concerns which is
we can even some of the instructions are stored very in a formatted way. It is structured, more structured, I would say. But some of the cases, it's all user stories. So again, we'll have to take a cautious call in terms of if we are not able to convert those. Imagine the worker is never going to read that those user stories. He doesn't have time to read those things. There has to be a way. We have to convert that into a visual instructions and present it to the worker, who which you can think he might use it. Otherwise, it will never be used. It will only stay as a process
so I was saying,
document.
are the scenarios to democratize the access
Yes,
to
in
these
terms of the
technologies
authoring tools, there are certain
non-profits to create a
authoring
platform
tools which are coming in, and there are certain tools
so of course, there are a lot
which are
of
like
ways
Unity. The big
from
players are also there, and
resources
also PTC ThinkWorks
to
Studio has come in. So, but
but
again, we have not, in our experience, we have not seen. We cannot say that this is one platform which is widely being used or which is applicable for all kinds of use cases. No, uh, but that is going to change in the years to come. Arul says, I'm working on Vuzix right now. Thank you. Please do share the feedback with us. Is this technology being used by any organization in India? Yeah. So, good question. In terms of uh, yeah, we have seen lots of customers asking about virtual reality, be it training or be it sales and marketing and so on. But when it comes to augmented reality on a smart glass, yes, we are trying. We are closely working on a due diligence phase with some of the customers. Again, what we have to note, for example, Microsoft HoloLens is not being released in India. Even Vuzix, to an extent, and also some of these smart glasses are but Google Glass, yes. So they have not been released in India, but again, to test and trial phase, it is possible. Uh, the I think the interest to test is there. We are getting customer queries, and we are doing a due diligence. So those are pretty much questions. Again, in terms of the geographical regions where we are seeing more traction is US, Europe, and Japan. But what was also surprising to us is that we had lots of queries beginning of the year, because what we strongly believe is that the technology being very well understood, or the customers took time to understand the technology and how the benefits will be, and they studied the market, so what is happening around them. And then this year they made what is more interesting is that they have a clearly defined use cases where they want to implement this, because this technology was seen more as a cool factor. That's why when the Google Glass came as a consumer edition, and they quickly Google realized that no, where we can make money is in the enterprise area. So that's why the version 2 of Google came as the enterprise edition, which is picking up a lot of market, right? So it's an exciting area, exciting technology, and the results are really encouraging. It's not just a cool factor. customers have
What is the
tested,
name of the
tried,
company that
and then
does
they've
something like
proved
this
that some of the
in the US?
areas
What
which
we
have
do?
now which it could not have been solved with any other
New York
technology,
based company
AR and
actually,
a smart glass is able to
So
solve that.
they do something
And
like us?
again, it is improving the frontline worker performance and
Because I'm not
reducing the
able to
number of
ask
errors they
questions,
are
I'm
doing.
typing in them. I don't want to put muscles right in
Again,
the question.
these
So
solutions, when you look at
check,
scale,
is there
bring
Mercedes or
can bring a
anything
lot
like
of
us,
benefit. So when we
Mercedes
look
and
at
something
one
about
or two
this?
use cases, one or two
Which company
workers,
do I
if
put?
you try to measure, yes, it is a good starting point. But
Huh?
when you look at
That
the
is
scale, that's where the benefits will be realized more. So any other questions? I'm happy to answer. Okay, Unity, Unreal, and other such software seems to have a steep learning curve and require people with specialized skill set. Is there any easier, more economical method? Very good question. Unity, Unreal, all these are gaming engines. Uh, I could say these are they are upgrading their platforms, and it's going to change in the years to come, or we will see it as early as the end of this year. We will see some of the functionalities which are coming, which will help a non-programmer to develop an application. So even there are a lot of companies based in US and Europe, they have come up with a platform solution which gives a system integrator to give a deliver an end product to the customer. So that is changing at a rapid pace. Uh, Unity, Unreal are not the only tools. That's what I can say. Uh, okay, is this technology able to also able to monitor and suggest corrections? Um, no, not at this point in time. So, augmented reality on a smart glass is having no such artificial. Of course, you can embed other technologies like AI with AR, but AR as such is doesn't carry artificial intelligence. So, for example, what I'm trying to say, if I take an example of you imagine a worker can easily capture a high resolution image using the smart glass. If this smart glass can go into a backend image processing system, and the system can check and verify if there is any defect or any analysis which has to give through image processing can be again viewed on a smart glass. These can be connected to the backend systems. That's the reason. Okay, so that's how you can either combine analytics to
if I ask
AR,
for
AI
reviews,
to AR, and so on and so forth. IoT to AR,
if
for
I ask for
example,
a review of
you
something
can
like I
visualize
see,
all the
so what do I have to ask?
parameters measured through IoT in AR.
What's up?
Say if workman is not following the right process, can it indicate? One very good question. It can indicate in terms of you can structure the application or the task flow in smart glass in such a way that until unless the worker completes that mandatory step, he will not be able to move to the next step, right? How do I say this? Let's imagine there is a critical checkpoint in his task flow, which you don't want your worker to miss, or which you don't want your worker to say yes, but still not done it. So in that case, what you can embed is that have a mandatory photo. You can ask the worker to capture the image of the checkpoint he has done and then keep it in the record. It's not only to question, but also for the audits and complaints purpose, which is telling that yes, the worker, and you can have a
Is it game
geolocation as
perspective
well.
or is it
So which can say track that this particular user at this point in time at this location had verified this checkpoint and it is being recorded. So it is trying, if you look at that way, that is trying to solve lots of problems around uh, manufacturing what you have, or on the services side of it, whatever you have. So just take a picture and store it. And another example, what our customers were also asking, is that during the quality inspection stage, they see a benefit of worker wearing when he does this inspection, just to keep on capturing the images of the defects itself, because that's a cumbersome process today to record a defect now. And so many defects, where are you learning from? If the defect numbers are high, you don't have time to record them in the picture, and then the associated remark and so on. What can happen with smart glasses is that you can allow the checker to just take a image of the the defect and store it, so that becomes as a repository point for you to carry on any analysis further. Can we have any leads to the technical teams for these AR device manufacturing, especially POSIX? Yeah, we do have um, partnerships. What we do as a system integrator is that it's very essential to have bring on board these hardware or smart glasses manufacturers, plus the platform providers, plus the professional services as a system integrator, what you bring in. And of course, what is the main objective of system integrator is, sorry, to understand the customer pain point and try define the matrix and make sure that that is being met. So we do have, in that note, we have the partnerships with OEMs like Uzix. Any challenges you are facing, we can definitely talk with them. We can apply our thought process how to overcome that without being hardware being modified, because when it goes for upgrade, it's not so easy, but yet there are possibilities where you can overcome. For example, if I have to tell you, uh, in a noisy environment, or when you think that hand gestures are also too much, if you want to navigate through the screen too much, you can have, for example, voice commands. You can use voice commands to navigate through the UI. Or if the voice, if the environment is too noisy, you can have the noise cancellation earphones, and again have an additional headphones still to work with a voice command. So what I'm trying to say is, we need to look at different possibilities in terms of overcoming that challenge. If something has to happen from the hardware OEM, yes, it will happen from them. uh, Hemant is asking again. Yeah, you heard about Meshius and Iris. Yeah, so yeah, they are also into VR space. I think what is more important to note is which are these companies having strategic view about sorry, about each vertical, because as you can see, the applications are huge. Are you running behind gaming? Are you running behind sales and marketing? Are you running behind uh, manufacturing and warehouse management solutions? Okay, if there are no more questions, we are good to stop here, I guess. Um, Sorry for those technical glitches we had in the beginning. Of course, I'm more than happy to share the updates in another session. Uh, For me, it looks to be very interactive. I had a lot of questions coming in. Please do feel free to post the questions, and we are more than happy to answer them and have a follow-up sessions like this on this exciting technology. Thank you very much. Thanks for your time.